everyone, and welcome to my presentation about the different aids that are available and the support that is available in Luxembourg if you set up a company. So if I make the transition with what Peter Söderman said, if you have if you need the Rolls-Royce in terms of data center and the Bentley in terms of electricity supply, well, then you will also need some kind of support when you set up your company in Luxembourg, because at some point you will need not only support for the business plan, but also support when it comes to financing the activities of your company that you want to set up. So what I also want to say about Luxembourg is that when it comes to startups, the startup scene has hugely evolved during the last couple of years. When I started at Luxinnovation some 5 years ago, we counted about a dozen of startups that were incorporated each year. Startups here meaning tech companies, mostly ICT-driven companies. And the previous year, 2012, we reached about 36 companies that were set up here in Luxembourg. So you see, it's not only support schemes and helps that are available, but it's also a huge scene in Luxembourg that is rising every year. So just to understand what I will present to you right now. So first of all, I will give you an overview on what we do at Luxinnovation, how we support startups. And I also want to point out that we are not the only ones here in Luxembourg that do support startups. There's also the Technopod. There are also some private initiatives here also present at ICTSpring that believe in the startup scene in Luxembourg, such as only to name a few, the PwC Accelerator, Europe for Startups, and other initiatives that are rising here in Luxembourg. And then I also will give you a brief overview on the different public aid measures that are available. So the financial aids that you can get whenever you set up a technology company in Luxembourg. So just very shortly, who we are at Luxinnovation. We are the National Agency for Research and Innovation. Our role is to promote innovation and to help companies to cooperate when it comes to research and development, and also to help them lead their projects. And we have different partners that support us, which are most of them are ministries or the two professional chambers and the FEDIL. So just to give you an overview of how we can assist you, and this presentation will highlight on the startup support services, but there are also other services that we can provide, such as the access to national funding schemes, where we assist you also non-startup companies in finding funds. We help you with innovation management, with tech transfer. If you have an idea, we also can help you with everything regarding intellectual property, and we also lead clusters. And Jean-Paul Heng is also present here, and he is leading this ICT cluster, which is a cluster that gives you, as an ICT company, the opportunity to find partners and to work together in different working groups. So we'll emphasize on the support for startups. And as I just said before, in Luxembourg, we now have 35 companies each year that are incorporated. And just to give an overview on our services, because for me, our services, we have 3 lines of services that we can offer to you whenever you have an idea and want to set up a company. So the first set of advice that we can give you is before incorporation. So if you have an idea, because the startup always begins with an idea. You have an idea, you want around that idea, you want to build a business, and that's precisely where we can assist you. So we can assist you in transitioning from that idea into a viable business model. So helping you, especially on the business plan, where you can define and make that idea happen. What we also do is for companies that come abroad, also giving them specific advice what it takes to set up a company in Luxembourg. Then also during the incorporation, we can support you with our partners for the more administrative steps and also for the incubation possibilities. And then, of course, once you have started your business, one of the most obvious questions that you will ask yourself is how will I be able to raise funds? And that's especially there where our support goes into the direction to help you in once again in optimizing your business plan in order to be able to find private funding, but also to be able to apply for public funding schemes that I will address later on. Then, of course, what we also do, so with respect to the previous slide, we are also kind of entrance door in our department, helping you to do the link with the other Luxinnovation services. So in addition to that, other specific services that are available is the 1 to 3 business plan competition, which is a competition for, let's say, at the stage where you have the idea, so at the pre-incorporation stage, where you have the opportunity within the greater region to be in a network of coaches, and those coaches are high-profile people from various sectors that can assist you very precisely in questions that arise whenever you set up your business plan. And it's also a business plan contest, which is also interesting in the sense that when you win this contest, which is a contest of the best business plan, you have a lot of visibility, which is always key whenever you launch new activities. Also very interesting new initiative that we are part of, which might raise your interest when you already have started your company, is Seed for Start. So Seed for Start, basically, it is a network of networks, of business angel networks. So as you see here, in Luxembourg, there is one dynamic business angel network, which is the Alban. But besides this business angel network, Seed for Start gives you the opportunity during pitch sessions that you can attend to present not only to the Alban but also to other business angel networks, which is quite interesting because, of course, there are more investors that you can then address during those pitching sessions. So if you have a startup and you would be interested to participate, just go to seedforstart.org, and there's also on the 8th of July an information breakfast that is organized. So hope to welcome you there. And then, when you another very interesting initiative here in Luxembourg, whenever you start up a company, is of course the Technopod. Technopod is the national incubator here in Luxembourg, and the Technopod offers you different possibilities when you are a more industrial company or an ICT company to be located within their premises and also to benefit from some of their services. So for instance, as I believe that most of you are more in the ICT field, there is the Technopod Belval, because the Technopod itself has two different facilities, one in Fürth and one in Belval, but the one in Belval is the more ICT driven, and it gives you the opportunity not only to benefit from office spaces, but also they also have a very interesting fab lab that might raise your attention, and also co-working space. So it's also some how to build up a whole community of innovative entrepreneurs here in Luxembourg. And of course, the admission criteria, I believe it's similar to most incubators. It's for innovative activities, and you have, of course, to provide a viable business idea or business plan. And also very interesting, the Technopod is also very often a venue to interesting events such as the Startup Weekend or the Apps Foundry Contest, which you might also have a look at. Yes, and then I'll step to the second point of my presentation, which is somehow a more technical presentation. But if you have any questions on this, of course you can always come to Luxinnovation, and we can explain it to you more into detail, and not only more into detail, but more specifically on your case. So what we do at Luxinnovation for the application for public aids is that our role is to accompany the companies that intend to participate in those programs, so that want to benefit from these public funding schemes, in order that they have an application where they have most chances on their side to be funded. So just a brief overview. Those aids, I will only address a couple of aids which might be the most relevant for startups. And of course, those aids are specifically open for companies that are set up in Luxembourg, and that lead R&D activities or innovative activities within Luxembourg. So just on the very from the general eligibility criteria point of view, all of those aids that are available under those specific schemes are aids that are meant for companies that have innovative projects and that are also able to co-finance and pre-finance it. And because all of those aids, it's not a one-shot aid that is provided by the government, it is really a co-financing. So meaning, if the government grants you a part of the costs of your project, you will then also have to be able to co-finance in any other way the remaining part of the financing. So that's very, very important. You have to show that what you do at some point there is a positive outcome of it in terms of economical activity, and of course that there is an incentive effect, meaning that you only can get an aid granted for activities that you undertake in the future. You don't get reimbursed retroactively. So so on the different funding schemes, I picked up three that I thought would be the most relevant. First one is the R&D project or program. That is specifically an aid that can help you to co-finance parts of an R&D project. So that means you define a project, you want to develop a new product or a new service, and this program gives you the opportunity to specifically finance a part of this project. This project where you have different costs, of course, that occur. There are different evaluation criteria. Of course, it has to be innovative. Technical risks, here it means that it is R&D, so that it is not a simple development of a website or whatever, that it really is R&D. And in ICT, I must say, R&D meaning that you, for instance, develop complex algorithms. So if you would, for instance, develop interfaces or anything like that, wouldn't necessarily qualify as such, but if it's complex algorithms, something one could think of as being R&D, then it can potentially be eligible. So economical potential, that there is a positive outcome, and of course, as already mentioned, that the company is able to bring the remaining part of the financing of the project. What can we find? It are all the costs that occur within the R&D project, and what you can expect as co-funding if you are, well, here a small enterprise, as the presentation is aimed for startups. So startups would mean in most cases small enterprise, less than 50 people, less than 10 million of turnover. You could expect in most cases, if you qualify, 45% of co-financing, so 45% of the aid of the amount of the project that could be co-financed. A bit more if it qualifies as industrial research. Industrial research meaning that it is an R&D that is further away from the end result, but that's already very, very technical. But another thing I want to point out is that there is a bonus for collaboration. So meaning if whenever you work together with a research center in Luxembourg, there are also incentives in certain circumstances that can apply. Well, then let's hand over to the next funding scheme that can be made available. It's innovation in processes and services. So here it's a bit similar to R&D, but if you don't have this technical risk that I just mentioned before, then it might be an innovation in processes with a bit similar costs that can be co-financed, but with a bit less higher rate of co-financing. Another aid that is very specific for startups, and I think which is one of the most interesting aids that we have is the aid for young innovative enterprises. So here the idea is not as previously if you lead R&D activities that parts of those costs can be covered. Here it is an aid that is specifically meant for a startup company that has that wants to grow, that is in a growth phase. And due to the fact that it is in the growth phase, it has a huge financial need. And that financial needs, of course, the startup company will then address investors in order to raise capital for that. Here you have the opportunity as a Luxembourg-based startup company to obtain an aid to somehow double the amount that an investor will put in the company. So that's really interesting. In order to be eligible, well, you have to be still a small company established in Luxembourg and be less than 6 years. And you have two other criteria, but basically they mean that you can show that you did R&D in the past, or that you can show that you are innovative and will lead R&D activities in the future. But what's more important here to mention is that it is an aid that you can only get awarded once, and that it is an aid that covers all the costs of the company. So it's not specifically for R&D or specifically for any project. Here it is very much for the development of the company, and also for the commercial development of the company, because all the other aids are for technical undertakings. Here it is for making the company grow. Finding investors and having an aid from the state that can boost the business in that sense. And the aid can amount up to 1 million euros at the co-financing rate of 45%. So that means if you have a financial need lowest in cash flow, so what you will need for the coming 2 or 3 years, if you have a financial need of, for instance, 1 million euro, you can expect 450,000 euros in terms of co-financing if and only if you can bring, or you find another investor that can bring the remaining 550,000 euros. So that's the principle of that aid for young innovative enterprises. So, thank you. If you have any questions, I don't know, else what you can always contact us, because as you've seen, it's quite technical, especially for the different aids that are available, and of course it's also those funding schemes. One has always to look at them specifically on your when it comes to your project and to your company. Okay, and then thank you very much.